I had a friend request to do a keto almond joy ice cream. So I'm gonna do that today. It's gonna all be about the mix-ins for this one. I'm gonna do a basic base. It's not really that basic because it has mascarpone cheese and it has a little bit of coconut cream in it and also some almond extract, which is gonna be kind of good, the combination of the two flavors. But the main thing is the mix-ins. So for the mix-ins, I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna make little mini candy bars of Almond Joy, but they're not candy bars because they can't be that big. So I'm gonna make little balls. I'm gonna take almonds and I'm gonna make a kind of a paste of coconut mixed with Splenda, cream cheese, a little bit of coconut milk and coconut extract, and I'm gonna put that in some melted chocolate and make little balls. And those are gonna be the mix-ins. I'm gonna freeze those overnight. I'm also gonna freeze the base of the ice cream overnight, so they should both be ready to spin at the same time. So I'm also, in addition to that, for the mix-ins, I have some crushed up almonds. They're just roughly chopped, and I'm gonna put those in chocolate as well. And those will mix in nicely to have some different textures in your ice cream. So the first step is going to be to melt your chocolate. This is zero sugar chocolate. It's not 0 calorie, and I should emphasize this is not a diet ice cream. It's high calorie, but it's low carb. So if you're trying to cut back on your sugar and your carbs, this is a good ice cream, but it's not really low calorie. You could melt your chocolate by doing it on a double boiler or over a stove. Today I'm gonna do it in the microwave because I think that's easier. Cooking that in the microwave was convenient, but be careful you don't overcook it. I mixed it with a little bit of milk and it overflowed, which made a mess of my microwave. But luckily the chocolate is still good. I mixed it up and I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna have to heat it up a little more right before I put the candy bar paste around the almond and dip it in there. But I'll set it aside for now. So, to make this filling for the candy bar, I'm gonna add the coconut. Like I said, I don't measure anything. I just kind of eyeball it. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. Sugar. I'm gonna not add too much because I'm gonna go by taste. But I'm gonna add a decent amount because this is unsweetened coconut. It may look like a lot, but keep in mind it's 0 calories, so we're fine there. A little bit of this coconut milk. This adds a little bit of flavor. It doesn't have, it's unsweetened. It's going to not only add a little bit of flavor, but it's going to help bind it together because the goal is that I'm able to press it against the almond and that it sticks. So I want it to be the right consistency. A little bit of coconut extract. Be very careful with your extracts. You don't want to add too much, so I'm just going to add 3 drops. I'm going to taste it later after we mix everything up. I'm looking at this, it needs a little bit more liquid, so I'm going to add some more. Also, when you mix it, you don't want to pulverize it and make it super smooth. You want it to have actual pieces of coconut. So I'm just going to run it through like a couple pulses on the bullet. I ran this through a couple pulses in my bullet, and I noticed right away that it was way too runny. I wasn't going to be able to put it around the almonds. I want it to be thick enough that it's like the inside of a candy bar, like the nougat, although this is made of coconut. On a positive note, it tastes delicious. But on a negative note, I really needed to do something to change the texture. So I added more cream cheese mixed with Splenda, and I mixed it up in a bowl, and I've added a little bit of this stuff that I made earlier. And what I'm gonna do is strain this into my creamy bowl so that the liquid goes into the base, and the coconut I'm gonna put in here, and that's gonna go for my mix-in. My insides for my candy bar were a little bit runny, so I had to add just a little bit of flour so that I could form it into balls. Now I'm able to take an almond, let me show you close up, and I'm going to wrap the coconut mixture around the almond and form a ball. It's not a perfect ball, but it's just a messy ball, which is totally fine, and place it on parchment paper. After I get all these done, I'm going to put the chocolate over the top, and I might have to wait until it dries and flip it and put the chocolate on the other side. But I think that'll be a lot easier than trying to dip them, because they're not really formed in solid balls. They're kind of a little bit sloppy, but they still look good. They look like little cookies. So I'm gonna, after we put the chocolate on them, I'm gonna freeze them. Okay, I'm done forming my balls, and I'm gonna set those aside and put chocolate over them. And now I'm ready to start my ice cream base. I've already got my coconut mixture that I strained off. That's gonna be really good in the base. And for the rest of it, I'm gonna take some mascarpone cheese, maybe like a couple scoops. Couple big scoops. Set that aside. And a little bit of coconut cream. When I open this can, you have to mix it because there's a lot of water on the bottom and the top is really solidified. So I just mixed it up a little bit, and I'm gonna add just a couple of scoops. This doesn't have much sugar in it. It's keto friendly. Set that aside. I'm going to add a little bit of cream. And I'm going to microwave this for 30 seconds to get it all mixed together. After blending this, I noticed that I forgot to put my vanilla in, and it needed a few things, so I added a little bit of heavy cream, a little bit more salt, and I'm going to stir this up, mix it all together, and then I'll be ready to freeze my base. After tasting this, I realized it needed a little bit more Splenda, and I added some more of the almond extract because it tasted a little too much like vanilla. I added some more of the coconut cream, and it turned out really rich and creamy and delicious. I went right to the line. If you ever go past the line, you can just pour some off and save it in one of these or in one of your Ninja containers. So now I'm ready to spin, and I've had my candy bars in the freezer. I will cover them with chocolate and then freeze them overnight. I'll freeze this overnight, and I'll be ready to spin tomorrow. I'm ready to spin my Almond Joy ice cream. It had a little bit of a mound on the top, so I just took my spoon and took it off. I'm gonna run this on full fat ice cream, and I've got my mix-ins ready. I've got my chocolate covered almonds, and I've got my homemade keto Almond Joy bars, but they're not really bars, they're little balls. I think they turned out really nice. I cut one in half because I had to taste one. It's got the almond in the middle. And I think what I'm going to do for the mix-in is cut them up either in halves or in quarters so that it doesn't break my machine, and then mix it all up and see how it tastes. After one spin, it looks pretty good. It's not the perfect ice cream texture yet, but I'm going to be doing my mix-in, so I think it'll be perfect once I mix this in. So what I'm going to do is make a well in the center. I'm using an ice cream scooper, but you can use whatever you want, a spoon or whatever. I'm going to add, not all of them, but I'm going to add my almonds, my chocolate covered almonds. And I cut up the candy bars in quarters. I think I went a little bit full. It's looking really good, but I don't want to overfill it. So I'm going to start with that. I'm not going to spin it on full. I'm going to do it just the top half, because when I refreeze this, I don't want my candy bars to get pulverized. So fingers crossed this is going to turn out. After spinning in my mix-ins, it mixed in a lot more than I expected, as in it pulverized the chocolate a lot more, but I think it's still going to be fine. It looks like it's going to form a nice scoop very easily. So I'm going to put it on a plate, with my candy bar. Use a little spoon and make this look nice. Here's the end product. And now it's time to taste. It's good. It's got the perfect amount of sweetness. I think it needs more almond, which is totally fine because I've got my almonds right here that I can put on top. And it actually makes it look nicer too. So there's the finished product. I think it turned out